This broadcast is part of the IC Robots Radio Network. Visit icrobots.com for this and many other nerd/nostalgia-related podcasts. You won't be sorry for long.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire.
I don't wanna grow up, don't wanna grow up. I don't wanna grow up, don't wanna grow up. I don't wanna grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with.
Welcome to the Toys R Us Report, recorded live from inside the Pooptronic Cellular Undersea Base 0001, 6.5 miles below the ocean surface. He'll probably be doing this, probably forever. Fellas want to stop him, they'll probably come together. Is it probable they'll stop him? Probably never. He's your host, IC Robots.
If you're looking for me, you better check under the sea. It is your dude, IC Robots, and I am not a hero, but I do sacrifice a bit of my week each and every week to make your week a bit less week. And this week, it is going to get so much less week. We got a ton of fun stuff ahead of us. We're going to start off with a new jam from Iceberg. Let me see if I can find it on the drive. Hit it.
In the early 2000s, a new movement in hip-hop began to emerge in the Bay Area. People were getting hyphy.
Yo, Iceberg, hit the ones and twos.
People were getting hyphy. People were getting hyphy. People were getting hyphy. People were getting hyphy. E40 is famously known for his creative lingo. What some of those words mean at NBCBayArea.com.
You are listening to the Toys R Us Report. Rock and roll could never hip-hop like this.
Thank you, Iceberg. Thank you, MC Kate Makes the Mic Disintegrate. That's another wacky one from DJ Iceberg. Me and him was watching this show called, what was it called? Bay Area Revelations? I cannot recall. It was a wacky documentary about Bay Area hip-hop, and they took it back all the way to the days of Too Short and stuff. They interviewed Todd Shaw, Too Short himself, and the entire thing was narrated by Peter Coyote, who you may know from any number of movies. Peter Coyote lives in the next town over from Santa Rosa up there on the Earth base. The town is called Sebastopol. It's a delightful little town. It's overrun with hippies. It has this real 60s vibe. It's really neat. If you want to go to a farmer's market and get some good heirloom tomatoes, Sebastopol is definitely the place you want to go. The other flea market is out there too. The one we go to in Santa Rosa is called the Mojo Sales Flea Market. The one over there is called I think it's called Migley's Flea Market. Everybody just calls it the Sebastopol Flea Market. But at any rate, Peter Coyote lives there. Tom Waits lives there too. Tom Waits, the noted singer and actor, lives over there. I've said that like a million times, but I thought he was an interesting choice for the narrator of the program. He has a great voice, don't get me wrong. He can definitely narrate a special, but by having him on it, you definitely get the feel that the program was aimed at not so much like Bay Area hip-hop fans. It's not for the dudes in Oaktown that are getting hyphy and ghost riding the whip at the sideshow. It is for the 50-year-old lady who gets the heirloom tomatoes at the Sebastopol Flea Market. But I get it, man. You're trying to teach people stuff, and I watched it, but I didn't learn anything I didn't know, which is fine. I am not the biggest aficionado of Bay rap. One thing that I did learn during the show that I thought was very interesting was they had they had a DJ on named Big Vaughn. He's on one of the hip-hop channels around here, and they were talking to him, and he said that one of the major differences between Bay rap and East Coast rap is that in California, everybody drives. Everybody drives everywhere they go because things are frequently really far apart. California is spread far and wide, whereas the dudes in New York doing the New York rap, they ride the trains, they ride the bus, they drive those Jamaica cabs or whatever, and while they're doing so, they're listening to their earphones. So an East Coast beat it'll have like a hard drum, like a boom, bap, boom, ba bap, bap. Whereas a Bay rap has more of a grooving kind of, you're driving like bow, ba bow, 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 bow. Like the Bay rap would use a bass, like a bass guitar, and they would play kind of like a funky thing. Whereas the East Coast rap will either have a drummer or more often a drum machine. I way prefer the East Coast rap because I'm a headphones guy. I have been a headphones guy my whole life. I love having my big over-the-ear headphones when I'm out walking the dog, when I'm out doing my when I'm doing my stuff, and the hard hitting, like the bass drum in the earphones, just sounds so much better than the kind of funky Bay bass lines. And I'd never really been able to like put my finger on the difference. I'd always said to me the difference between Bay rap and the rap that I listen to is like, Bay rap is a lot about like players and pimps and hustlers and things like that. And I'm not a player pimp hustler. I don't go for the hustler lines. I was always into the more like the positive approach of a certain kind of East Coast rap, like a Tribe Called Quest, like a Jungle Brothers, like things like that.
Hey, this is all fascinating or whatever, but dude, I don't think that the dudes who listen to the show really dig 90s rap the way you do.
You don't think so?
No, not really. At least not from the notes I get.
You get notes?
Yeah, I get notes all the time.
Notes from who?
From listeners.
What do these notes say?
They say that they don't like rap as much as you do.
Did they really say that?
Well, they imply it. You should talk about something else.
Like what? What do you think I should talk about?
Like, I don't know, toys or something. Talk about which Jon Snow figure you bought that's a gripping tale.
Yeah, okay, I can do that. Thanks for the notes.
Okay, Emily out.
Emily has been on the producer tip lately. I appreciate that, man. Sometimes I tend to blather. I got Johnny Snow, a.k.a. Jon Snow, a.k.a. the King of the North, a.k.a. Arnanon, Targ-Naganon. I like Game of Thrones. I've seen every episode, but I've only ever seen them once. Remember back in the day, you'd see a show like 10,000 times each episode, and you knew every single thing about it. Nowadays, I'll see something once and then never again. There are the occasional one I see twice, but they're few and far between, but I do enjoy the show. That battle the other week was dope. That was just bananas. A real fun hour and a half. The whole episode was a battle. It was like a movie length fight. A lot of fun. Let's see. We have this thing called the Grange, the Rincon Valley Grange up there on the Earth base. It's not too far from where I live. It's like a lodge, I guess is what you would kind of consider. It's like a lodge building. It's neat. I've considered joining over the years, but I've never done it. But they were having a flea market, and the wife was like, why don't you ride your bike over there? You like to ride your bike. Go see what's going on at the Grange. And it's not the distance between here and the Grange. It's the matter of roads. They're like old school country roads the entire way there. The direction you go, it becomes more and more rural as you move along. We kind of live right on the outskirts of where the rural Rincon Valley fields end, and I don't go that way on my bike, like not never, because the roads are thin and there are like trucks. So I'm just like, I don't go. I don't want to risk it. I'm not Johnny Knoxville. I don't put my neck on the line when I'm out there. I'm just trying to have fun. But the idea of a flea market really, really caught my eye. The last time the Grange had a flea market, we got up on a couple blow molds, Christmas blow molds for the yard for like 75 cents each. It was dynamite. And they had snacks. I got a chili dog, and it was great. One of the best days I've had in years. So I decided to risk my biscuit and go that way. I thought, why not? You know, you only live once. But I didn't take into consideration that it was also Rincon Valley Little League Day, and the Little League Park is out that way. The traffic was bananas. I managed to make it, but it was hard, and it's all uphill. I honestly barely make it. And then when I got there, I discovered the flea market wasn't as dope as the last one. It'd been going on since Thursday, which I didn't know, and I was only able to find this one thing, and I honestly only bought it because I put my neck on the line to get there, and I'm like, you gotta get something. You can't risk your life and ride away with nothing. So I found a Funko Jon Snow figure in the package. It was $3. I had to get something. It's cool. He has Longclaw, his famous sword. I don't really go for these overly detailed action figures. Let's open him up. Why don't we? What else are we doing? What else are we gonna do? Let's bust open Johnny Snow. I brought him down here with me because I wanted to show Iceberg. He loves some GOT. This may be like one of the only Funko things I myself have ever purchased. Let's see. Johnny Snow looks a lot like Johnny Snow, the dude that I know. Oh, he's all tied in here. I don't want to deal with this. He's tied in 3 different locations. His feet and also around his torso. He looks pretty good. He has some articulation. Looks like his knees move and his elbows move and his head. I don't know if his waist pivots, but the sword's a nice replica. I might end up giving that to Action Jackson so he can add it to his combat weapon collection. But the way back from the Grange, I decided I'll go this way toward Calistoga Road, because I forgot I'll go this way and then I'll turn and it's all downhill to my house. But what I didn't consider is I didn't really know where I was road wise, and I was so much higher up Calistoga Road than I thought. And Calistoga Road is crazy steep and it has crazy traffic. There's no sidewalk, but I'm just like, what are you gonna do? You gotta do it. I didn't want to go back the other way because it was just, I don't know. I didn't want to do it. It was hot. It was hot out, so I had to bomb down this hill with one hand because I'm holding this Johnny Snow action figure in the other hand, and the road is bumpy. There's rocks everywhere. Cars are whizzing past me. At one point, I thought to myself, well, I guess this is how you die. But I made it. I got all the way down. I managed to survive, but I'm not even kidding. There were moments where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I really, really, really don't. But I did, and I got this Jon Snow action figure that I only kind of sort of want. I don't know, it's all about the experience, I guess. And when you challenge death, you feel more alive, I guess. Don't go do that. I am not advising you. Let's move into at the movies.
Get ready, you fleshbag criminals. J5 is coming for you. And there is no way to hide from the robotic arm of justice. Starting this Earth spring. On televisions everywhere, Johnny Court. The greatest court show that there has ever been. All other judges are obsolete.
Join me, movie star Johnny 5, this spring on your piece of garbage standard def hillbilly TV, as I bring justice to your holler, robot style. Johnny Court, coming everywhere, soon.
In a moment, at the movies without Ebert, Siskel, or even that dude Roper, but you got icy robots, so that's something, right?
My grandfather used to tell me stories all about this one soldier. As he got older, the stories got stranger. Some I believed, others I don't know. But it wasn't describing a man.
Wallet, keys.
It was more like something mythic, legendary.
The man who killed Hitler, and then Bigfoot 2019.
You didn't pull any swords from any stones, did you? But you might have done something. Something bigger, maybe.
The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot is a movie that explores the toll that it takes on a man to have to kill another man. I did not expect that out of this movie. The film stars Sam Elliott. I should probably get that out of the way, but I did not expect this out of that movie. I expected like a grindhousey sort of action movie with like a lot of throwback to the day when you would see a young Sam Elliott taking on Hitler, knocking out Bigfoot or doing whatever. But the movie is like a slow, introspective look at a man who, while considered a hero by many, regrets much of the things that he did in the past. I don't want to misrepresent. He does not regret killing Hitler. He knows Hitler's an awful dude and he thinks it's fine, but what he regrets is killing any man. He never wanted to be put into a position where he'd have to get the blood on his hands. Who does? Only a maniac. This movie, while very much different than what I expected, was really enjoyable by me. I thought it was nice. I thought it was smart. I thought it moved along at a nice pace. There is the throwback to the day when he was a young man who killed Hitler. You get to see him kill Hitler. I thought that was kind of cool. But the performance that Sam Elliott, who you might know from The Big Lebowski, you might know him from A Star Is Born, you might know him from like any number of things, Roadhouse. The man is a legend of cinema, and in this, he puts on one of the best performances I've seen out of dude. He's having such a great act to his career right now with The Star Is Born, and this, while not as big on the performance tip, is of the same caliber. I would say he has like this world-weary regret on him at all times, and you can really feel it. We got this one on Blu-ray over at Good Old Joe Video. We'd wanted to rent it for a while. I remember when it came out originally, but I didn't get a chance to catch it. It may have played in the city or Berkeley, but there was no chance it was going to play around Santa Rosa. And the title of the film sort of like moved it to legendary status right off the bat. The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Killed Bigfoot is one of the greatest titles in the history of moviedom. It's awesome. When you hear of that movie, you know that you have to see it, but I was like a lot of you who had heard about it. I didn't know where to see it. Now it's available just about anywhere. We got it at Joe Video, like I said. If you have a local video store around you, go look for this one there, but you can watch it on like YouTube. They offer you the chance to buy it if you want to check it out. And I do feel like this one is worthy of checking out. It's a great performance out of Sam Elliott. It's a real interesting idea. The movie delivers. There is a battle between him and Hitler, and there is a battle between him and Bigfoot. I don't want to project this idea that the movie's all like arty-farty and talky and stuff. There's a lot of talky, but at the end, the government sends him out there to hunt Bigfoot. Let me explain a bit about the plot. The movie starts off with Sam Elliott at home in his hometown. He has his dog. He's in his retirement age. He has his routines, eats his breakfast, gets his hair cut, goes for a walk, and does stuff like that. It's nice, very cool existence, and the dude does deserve it after killing Hitler. But then they show him kind of looking back at these things in his life, and while he knows they were something that had to be done, he's sad that he's the one who had to do it. The pain weighs on his soul. You see him talking to Larry Miller, who plays his barber. You get to see him talking to, well, I don't want to give too much away, but there is a point where they come and they get him to recruit him to go back into action, because it turns out that Bigfoot is alive and real, and in the Canadian wilderness right now with some sort of a bacterial infection that's killing the livestock all around it. And they being the government, think that the bacteria is going to move on to mankind and start killing fools left and right. So Bigfoot has to be put down. And Sam Elliott is the only dude they think who has the kill set. to go out there and do it. And he realizes he has to, and he fights this regretful battle with Bigfoot. It's great. I thought this movie was a lot of fun. Real good, completely unexpected. It was not what I thought it would be. I saw something kind of like a Robert Rodriguez Desperado kind of thing, or something of that sort, like a Machete, like a tongue-in-cheek kind of action thing. And I was pleasantly surprised. It was a thought-provoking, thoughtful film. I thought it was neat. Go rent it now at your LVS. That's your local video store. Let's just hop on over to the Tomates, and we'll see what they have to say about it. The movie is at 73 with the critics and 51 with the peeps. I can definitely see why that is. I can imagine a lot of people are pulled in by the title, expecting something to get something different, and they don't like it. But I don't know, man. I go with the flow. It stars Sam Elliott. It stars Ron Livingston, Larry Miller, and Caitlin Fitzgerald is his love interest in it. The movie's only it's 98 minutes long. That's hardly anything. You know, just a drop in the bucket of your life. Perfect movie length to me. So, on the good old-fashioned Source Magazine mic meter, with 1 being a dud and 5 being an all-time classic, I'm going to go ahead and give The Man Who Killed Hitler and then Bigfoot a solid 3 mics.
3 mics.
You're losing perspective and compassion. There's a reason I'm sitting behind this desk running things, and you're out there with a partner that's 20 years younger than you.
Hey, Anthony's got a mouth with his own engine, but he's solid.
I'm thinking about the kind of future I can offer my girlfriend.
Dragged Across Concrete 2019.
Dragged Across Concrete is the latest flick from Craig Zahler, who you might know from The Brawl in Cell Block 99, who you might also know from Bone Tomahawk. The movie stars Vince Vaughn as Mel Gibson as two, some would say, racist, violent cops who get suspended for getting a bit rough with a suspect, so they decide to rob some criminals and go for what's theirs. The movie is incredibly slow-paced. It runs for like 2 hours and 40 minutes or so. I did enjoy the deliberate pace, but I felt like it moved slow at a few points, it almost seems like that's what Zahler was going for. It's a real slow pace that allows for a lot of things to just kind of burn slowly and go along to an eventual violent. And I'm a fan of Zahler's work. Brawl in Cell Block 99 was one of my favorite movies of the year that it came out. It's an incredibly violent grindhouse prison movie, which is just up my alley. I love a prison flick. And then Bone Tomahawk was an incredibly violent Western, which is another thing I like. I like a Western exploitation movie. I don't know. I don't necessarily enjoy violence in films, but when the movie kind of has like that exploitation vibe to it, that grindhouse vibe to it, I accept it as part of the product and don't mind it as much as when it's kind of like slapdash thrown into other movies to kind of get a shock or to get a thrill. I don't know. There does feel like there's a difference in it. Dragged Across the Concrete has a lot of the Zahler players who you've seen in Brawl, like Don Johnson and such. Vince Vaughn was in Brawl. If you like those other two, you'll definitely like this one. But it is kind of for a niche genre audience, I think. The movie didn't play around here. It opened briefly in Berkeley, but we weren't able to go see it. And then it went like immediately to, I think it's Vudu, the online site, and you could watch it there. But then it came out on Blu-ray within like a month or so after it came out, and they had it over at Joe Video. So when I saw it, I was excited. I grabbed it. Actually, what happened was I knew that it was out, so I went to grab it, but I couldn't find it because somebody made a filing error, and it was alphabetically not where it was supposed to be, so I missed it, and I grabbed The Man Who Killed Hitler and then Bigfoot, and when I got to the counter, I was like, hey, you guys didn't get dragged across the concrete? And he's like, of course we got dragged across concrete. Let me go get it for you. And he got it. And at this point I had both and I wanted to see both. So I was like, I'll just get them both. They were 3-day rentals. I had like a mini movie marathon at the house, which was kind of fun. It was overcast out and I had a nice time watching both of these. Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn they're pretty good as the racist cops. There's something provocative about casting Mel Gibson in the role of a racist cop with his known troubles. I decided to kind of overlook that. I felt like I'm gonna separate the artist from the art, and who better to play a racist pig than Mel Gibson. I don't know, maybe you'd call it genius casting. I liked this movie. It could have been shorter. I don't know. Overall, I thought it was what I got in for. Out of the 3 Zahler flicks so far, I feel like this may be the third. I would rate Brawl, Bone, Dragged in order. I don't know. A lot of people out there think that Zahler is going to be a big voice in the future. Some people seem kind of a Tarantino type. I wouldn't go that far, but I do look forward to see what he might get into when he gets into a bigger flick. But I've seen some of the deleted extra stuff in the movies he's put out, and he doesn't seem like he's in a hurry to move into the bigger movies. I don't see Craig Zahler directing the next Marvel movie, but if he did, I'd see it. I guess I'd see it anyways. Tend to see all the Marvel movies. So on the good old-fashioned Source Magazine Mike meter, with 1 being a dud and 5 being an all-time classic, I am going to go ahead and give Dragged Across Concrete a solid 3 mics.
3 mics.
Please drop by supportthereport.com and consider becoming a show patron for as low as a measly $1 a month. It's the right thing to do.
You made it this far. It's time. The final segment. The Icy Robots Radio pop culture / toy news / other boring stuff informational moment.
All right, it is me, and we are back for what will be the final segment of the show, the one in which I talk about, whatever. Do you hear that reverb? I'm hearing some weird reverb in my earphones. Can you guys hear that? I don't know, that's weird. The cans are acting up on me. It's not the biggest deal in the world. It's like I can sort of hear myself in my ear, and I realize, yeah, dummy, you can always hear yourself, but I can hear like an echo way in the distance of the earphones. At any rate, we're gonna start off with we got some text messages from people who enjoy the show, people who like to hear me. That's so weird. I can definitely hear myself. I wonder what that is. Emily, do you have any idea what that is?
Yeah, don't worry about it. There have been some issues in the space-time continuum.
Dude, that sounds like a pretty big problem. Like, what kind of space-time continuum issues?
Time echoes and stuff. It's no big deal. Should clear up in a few.
I don't know, man. That sounds like something I should worry about. Are you sure? It's all good?
Yeah, dude. Don't worry about it. It's all fine.
Yeah, okay.
Emily out.
Huh, that doesn't sound good, man. I don't know anything about the space-time continuum, but, well, it does seem like those echoes have gone away, so maybe it wasn't a big deal. Who knows? I'm sure we'll never hear anything about that again. So we were about to take some text messages. I got your voicemails, Gabe, but this is a message to patron Gabe. Gabe, there's something going on with the audio system that we have for recording messages. Everything is coming out. It's coming out all garbled. I wonder if that has anything to do with the space-time issue. But don't think I'm ignoring you, dude. It's just I don't have the capabilities of getting to those messages right now. So if you want to reach out to us, do so on your phone. Do so via text. You can reach us at 707-532-JAMS. That is that's the easiest way to do it. I get like a ticker tape, like one of those stock deals. So let's see what we got on the ticker today. There were a few. I always look forward to doing these. It's interesting to see what people say. Here is the first one. This is from the 809 area code region, and it says, "Hey man, I can't find Johnny Court anywhere in my listings. I don't know what to say about that. I have heard that the show is available in all of the major markets. At least that's what AB Silver says. He says we are available in all of the local major markets. We're available in all of the major markets nationwide. That's my AB Silver imitation. It sounds a bit like Ray Liotta as well, but not a good Ray Liotta, just a Ray Liotta. So I don't know. Keep looking. I guess maybe it's just not that they've been picked up yet, but I understand that they're available in. We get them here on channel 68, a local station, and I've seen a few. They seem alright. I'm just kidding. I haven't actually seen it, but I've seen it in the listings. Let's go on to the next one. Sorry, I wish I could be more help. Go look online, maybe. That's what people say to me whenever I want to go and find something. Go Google that. Hit the Google. Hit the Googs. Hit the Bing. See what you can find out. Let's see. We got one here from our dude, Engineer Nerd, who we all know and love. You can find him here on the tweets. That's at Engineer Nerd, spelled exactly like it sounds. You can find him on Action Figure Blues. They recently recorded their 350th episode, so I gotta give a big up to that. That's an achievement and a half, man. 100's an achievement, so I guess that's 3.5 achievements. Let's see what our dude said. He goes, top 3 sandwich condiments. That's a good one. I will say I'm not like the biggest fan of mayonnaise. It's a bit too greasy for me. So these are in no particular order, just whatever. My favorite, I guess this is in order. I like mustard, just like straight up yellow mustard. I consider jelly to be a condiment. I consider the peanut butter to be a meat. So the jelly is a condiment. At one time we had this Italian sandwich dressing that came in like a squirt bottle. I don't know who made it, but I've wanted to have that back ever since we got through it. That stuff was delightful. Like I said in the past, I love an Italian sub. So it's nice to get that at home. I don't put a lot of condiments on my sandwiches, to be honest. I'm in the don't drown your food camp. I do put like a light level of mustard, yellow mustard. Sometimes I use like a spicy mustard. I definitely love a spicy mustard. When you go to the Chinese restaurant and you get that yellow Chinese mustard, it's so great. I love how when you eat too much, your sinuses get that weird like you're gonna sneeze, but you don't. That was a good question. I do like a sandwich. I've been eating more sandwiches lately. I've been making them up there on the Earth base. For a while, I got into bologna, like deli bologna, really big. But I've been buying these packs of Italian sandwich meat they sell at the Safeway. They're like Boar's Head. Is that the brand, the Safeway deli brand? But I've been making my little Italian sandwiches at home. I got like some bologna, some salami, some other kind of salami, and I'll roll them up. I'm a roller, like a meat roller, and I just put like a light layer of mustard on top of that, and then I cut it diagonally. I'm a diagonal cutter. I don't know why. I guess because I like to put the corner. I like to eat the corner piece first. I kind of go at it that way. I don't go right in the middle. I like to nib the corners and work my way in. Engineer Nerd, that was a good question, man. I appreciate that. Hope all is well with you. Let's see what's next. Oh, we got one here from Patron Gabe. It says, "Hey, ISR, this is Gabe. The last battle of Endgame was not exciting. Do you have a fever or something?" I feel you, man. I did think we're talking about the Avengers Endgame, the final battle. It's not a spoiler to say there's going to be a battle at the end. That's the way these things always are. But I I don't know. I did like it. I thought it was cool. I definitely enjoyed the movie, but these big end battles are so cartoony. They just don't do it for me. You know, I don't know what I want, but I guess the fact that you know there's going to be one at the end kind of takes away from the interest in the battle, if you know what I mean. It's like, you know, you're going to be there, you know, it's going to happen. It's something you got to sit through. So it's sort of just like, it takes away from the experience for me. I wish that there was some other way for them to end these movies, but I guess in a lot of ways it's always gonna come down to that. But I did think the movie was great, Gabe. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I might go see it again. I haven't been to the cinema since then. I rented a couple DVDs from Joe Video, but I haven't been back to the Cine, and I do want to. Let's see. We got another one here. This is from good friend of the show, Stuntman Mike. Big up to Stuntman Mike. He's a Patreon, so I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. It says, hello, Mr. Icy Robots. I thought I'd take a moment to send you a few questions. First of all, I finally got caught up on the Patreon episodes, and they rock. I appreciate that. Were you able to get the RSS feed deal working? I hope so. We do this thing on Patreon. We have a bunch of other shows. Patreon is this way that you can help support the show with like a monthly subscription. You can give anything $1 on up. It's all good, and you get a bunch of shows that we have over there. But up until now, you had to go to Patreon and you had to download them. They just the other week started offering an RSS feed that you can enter into your podcast software, whichever one it may be, and the shows are right in there. It's great. It's like a game changer to me. So were you able to use that, Stuntman Mike? Is that how you got the shows? I hope so. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I even have that Spidey comic with the first appearance of Black Cat. I got it back in the day. We did a audio handbook of the Marvel Universe on the Black Cat, and I talked about how I had purchased the comic. It's cool that you have it too, man. Do you have that Black Cat poster I was talking about? I want to get back up on that. If you want to find out more, you got to become a show patron. Go over to supportthereport.com. Anywho, on to my questions. Have you checked out the YouTube show Cobra Kai? If not, I highly recommend it. It's probably one of my favorite shows, with each episode leaving me wanting more. Dude, I have. I love it. We just finished season 2. It is so great. I cannot say enough good things about Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is a YouTube show with the further adventures of Daniel San and Johnny Lawrence, and a new group of Cobra Kai students and a new group of Miyagi-Do students. It is so great. If you have any interest at all in the Karate Kid, I cannot recommend this highly enough. Man, that brawl they had was bananas, right? And in this, you get to see, well, I don't want to give anything away. I don't think I'm giving too much away by saying there's a brawl. Obviously, there's going to be some fights in Cobra Kai, but it's so great, man. I love this story of Johnny Lawrence trying to get redemption. It's really just a good show. If you haven't watched it, go do it. I cannot recommend it enough. Will you be checking out the up-and-coming new Swamp Thing series from DC Universe? I don't know. I might. I did kind of like the Swamp Thing movie from back in the day with Adrian Barbeau and stuff, but it might have been that I liked Adrian Barbeau. I'm not sure. I do like the Swamp Thing as a character. I plan on getting the DC Universe sometime over the summer when all the good shows go dry. It'll be something to be able to dip into and enjoy. I'm looking forward to I want to see the Doom Patrol. I think that looks really good. And I also want to see, Teen Titans. I think that's going to be fun. I'm kind of hoping the longer I wait, the more stuff that they'll get. Let's see. Last but not least, if you were to name 3 moments in time from your childhood that makes you smile, what would they be? 3 might be a bit much. I don't know if I got time for, I definitely got time, but I don't know if I have 3 off the top of my head, but I got one that's a good one. I was just thinking about this the other day. This is a good story, man. This is 3 in 1. You're going to like this. So me and my bro were in the common area of this, this townhouse deal that we were living in. It's just like a big grass area surrounded by bushes. And I'm I'm 5 years older than he was. I'm thinking I was like, I maybe been like 13 or so. He's like 7 or 8. And what I was doing was I had him by one leg and one arm. And I was kind of gently spinning in a circle, so that he was being held out. He was in the air. He was getting spun. He kept going faster, faster. So I ended up going like really fast. And I was dipping him down and then swinging him up. So he was like angled up and then down, up and then down. And I was going pretty fast by this point when I stepped into a hole or like a small divot in the ground and I lost control of him and I sent him flying. Like I let go. I fell down and I let go. And this was when he was on the upswing. So he took off. He flew through space like a ninja star. He was spinning like end over end. He looked like Puss in Boots in Shrek when he jumped, and he disappeared. Like he flew so far. He landed in the bushes and I fell down and I hurt myself. So I'm laying there on the ground going, and I'm calling his name out and I'm not hearing anything. I'm like, no, he's dead. I've killed my brother. So I managed to get to my feet and my leg is hurt, right? I'm like, and I'm dizzy too, right? Cause we've been spinning in a circle. So I'm like spinning and kind of wobbling, trying to find him. I'm looking all over the place. I don't know where he went. Everything is so spinny and I can't find him. I'm like, he's dead. In my head, I'm like, what am I going to tell Mom? And I keep looking around and finally I hear this moaning, this, So I crawl over and I see him laying in the bushes, just like, he's like spread eagle and all, like his arms are all twisted up and he's mangled and he's like, and he's like, I heard you said I was dead. Am I dead? And I'm like, no, you're not dead. And I picked him up and I scooped him in my arms and I carried him off like bodyguard style. I'm like, let's go home. And I'm like carrying him and I'm dizzy. I think I probably ended up dropping him on the way. But what I remember the most is him flying through the air like a ninja star. Just like, woo, 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 woo. When I think about it now, it's so funny. He could have died. I guess it's funny because he didn't. Let me tell you one more. This was something else I thought about the other day that really made me laugh. One time, me and my bro were hanging around the neighborhood. We were latchkey kids. So we had like all day during the summer to do whatever we wanted. So we were going around and going in the bushes and doing whatever. And we found an old scuzzed out Playboy magazine. It was like moldy, had been hidden in the bushes forever. It was, to us at the time, it seemed absolutely ancient. Like it seemed like an old one. It was probably like a 70s one. It was so gross. The pages were like molded together and all of the good stuff had been ripped out. Like whoever threw it in the bushes took all the pictorials and the centerfolds and all that stuff and just like, they threw this empty husk in the bushes. But we took it home and we had it and we looked through it a couple times and it was boring. There were like articles about stereos, stuff that I would love now. Probably like Laserdisc player reviews and stuff I'd really love now. But at the time I'm like, I want some sleeves. I don't want this. So we started thinking, what should we do with this husk of a Playboy magazine? And I came up with this idea. Why don't we lay it on the sidewalk? We'll lay it right out in the middle of the sidewalk and we'll spy. And we'll see whoever takes it, right? We'll see them, and we'll know that they're a pervert, right? And my brother's like, yeah, let's do it. So we sat it out there. We ran out, we sat it down, then we ran back in the house. We started peeking out the window. Where we lived had like a busy sidewalk in the front. People were always going by. It was a nice neighborhood for walking and stuff. So we're like spying and waiting to see. And like eventually we got bored of it and forgot about it. We came back a few hours later and it was still sitting there. I don't know if nobody had walked by or if nobody had taken it or whatever, but as we're looking, we see this older gent in our neighborhood start to go by and we're like have our eyes. It's like Rambo peeking out of the water. We're peeking over the window and we see this guy pick up the magazine and he looks around from side to side to see that nobody's looking and he puts it inside of his jacket, like under his arm. So no one will see him have it. And then right as he starts to walk away, my brother popped up and yells, "Pervert!" and he ducked down again. And the guy starts looking all over the place. And he let the magazine like fall out of his arm. Like, whoop! It fell back on the ground and he like skedoodled out. But the moment when he jumped up and yelled, "Pervert!" heart was like, oh, it was one of the funniest things in my life. I can't even imagine what this poor guy felt. So there's two. I hope that's good enough. Those are some pretty funny stories. I don't know. Thanks, Stuntman Mike. I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate you being a patron. I appreciate you just, I don't know. I appreciate you as a person. Let's see what else we got here. I guess that's it for messages. We're still working on the Mego Fighting Championship over at icrobots.com. That's ISEEROBOTS. That is a fighting tournament between the toughest of all the Megos. So far, we've seen classic bouts like Andre the Giant versus Fonzie. We saw Spock versus Dr. Zaius. Andre the Giant also fought Spock. We've seen Action Jackson versus Bruce Lee. We just had Bruce Lee versus Muhammad Ali. It was amazing. Ali went over in that one, and I wanted to explain my reasoning for that. I feel like in a straight up fight, I'm gonna go Ali. Ali was a world class professional fighter. He was a world boxing champion. He was an Olympic boxing champion, and as dope as Bruce Lee was primarily a movie actor. He had a lot of great theories on martial arts, and he was an amazing athlete. But he just can't stand up to somebody who has all the practical experience of a Muhammad Ali. Plus, Ali probably had 75 pounds on him. It's a size mismatch. I do expect amazing things from Bruce Lee in the Mego Fighting Championship. So far, he's 1-1. He destroyed Action Jackson, and he fell to Muhammad Ali. I have a fight planned for him in the future that should be a good style matchup for our dude Bruce Lee. But check for the MFC, the Mego Fighting Championship, over at icrobots.com every week. While we're on the topics of Megos, I got one. I'm going to open him right here. I picked him up through a Facebook group, the Mego Ambassadors, that my guy Engineer Nerd hit me to. This is one that I wanted from the jump. It is Nosferatu. He is a beautiful, beautiful action figure. The head sculpt of Max Schreck is amazing. The jacket is fantastic. He looks great. I wonder if this guy is going to enter the MFC. Let's pop him open. I want to get my fingernail here around the card so I don't damage it. This is another one that I got from that purchase from my dude Chris Galum of he has a video game store in Augusta, Georgia. He's like the #1 Mego seller on the Mego Ambassadors. I still need to get a hold of homie and buy an Elvis. I want an Elvis as well. Let's before we get super deep into it, there is a new wave of Mego monsters coming out, and they look pretty cool to me, but they're all kind of resculpts. They're not resculpts, remixes maybe of figures that already exist. There's a Dracula with the purple cape. He has a new head, and he has a little goatee. He looks very, very smarmy, and I do kind of like him. There is a Frankenstein, a shirtless, glow-in-the-dark Frankenstein with he has scars where you can see he's been assembled. The Dracula also glows in the dark, so that's neat. They're releasing another werewolf, but this time he's flocked. Where they put a hair, they glue little hair on him. He looks pretty cool. There's going to be a Freddy too, but I don't know what the hook is on Freddy. I also think they're releasing a Gorn with some glow-in-the-dark attachments. They're also releasing some Star Trek ones. These guys come with tribbles. I just want some new sculpts. I am not going to in any way complain about Mego and what they're doing because they're just out of sight as far as I'm concerned. Dr. Mego, Rachel Baker, who makes the clothes, she also signed this card of the Nosferatu. She signed the card of the Frank that I opened the other week. This guy, this Nosferatu, you can hear me wrestling around with him. I'm just gonna bring him out. He is amazing. He's just hideous. His head is hideous. So grotesque. He has talons. His fingers are like talons. So gross. I love him. The buttons on the front of his jacket are great. He has a nice little scarf. Let's open up the jacket. It's Velcro. He's wearing a black shirt, black tight shirt, black pants. He has some loafers. He has some loafers on. The thing about him that makes him great is this head sculpt. It's absolutely beautiful. Just a just a terrific figure. Mego knocked it out of the park with this glow-in-the-dark Frankenstein I got last week, and this one is just amazing. He's so scary. I'm going to put him out in my Halloween decorations for sure. I look for any chance to get action figures into the living room. Before we get out of here, we have one more order of business. I saved the most important order for the last. We picked up a new show patron this week. He's a Twitter mutual of mine, a guy that goes by the name of the Necrotic Doctor. You can find him on the tweets. His handle is Necrotic Doctor. That's NECROTIC Doctor. The whole word spelled out, not a DR. Necrotic Doctor. He's a collector of Transformers and all sorts of neat things. My dude, I appreciate you joining us on the good side, becoming a show patron. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you spreading the word. I appreciate you as a person. I don't know, man. It means so much to me when I get a new Patreon. It really warms my heart to feel like we're out here, down here, touching somebody in a way that makes them want to like open up their wallet and give. It makes me feel good. Necrotic Doctor, thank you for giving me that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everything. Go follow him on the tweets at Necrotic Doctor. It is well worth it. I think we're running up on it though. I think we're running out of time. We gotta get out of here. We'll be back next week. Next week we're gonna talk some flea market. It's the start of the flea market season here. We went to the 40&8. That was fun. I'll talk about what I got. I'm sure I'll talk about some movies I saw. All sorts of fun stuff. So until then, if you don't know, now you know.
This has been an IC Robots Radio production. IC Robots Radio is a listener-supported endeavor. If you like what we do and we make your day a little easier, please consider tossing a few bucks our way to help keep the life support running. All money collected goes to help us prepare for future space pirate attacks. Go on over to supportthereport.com for all the details. Thanks and have a great week.
Everybody love everybody! Come on!
Portions of our broadcast day may be presented either in whole or in part by means of videotape or film reproduction. This is KTXL TV 40, signing off the air, ending another schedule of broadcasting. KTXL Sacramento, Stockton, California.
Pervert!